Recording this video. Hi, I'm Brad Skiles. I'm in Warsaw, Indiana. My friend Terry is in Tennessee, and Nasser and Medea are, of course, in Pakistan. This is a real significant time because next week, on Wednesday, the 24th, is the Women's Prayer Festival.
Yeah.
So, Nasser Medea, tell us kind of what's happening this week. Is this a busy week in preparation? And I also want to know, I know you just got the money. So,
Yeah.
do you have the audio Bibles or is that all coming together for you?
Okay. You tell first about the.
Yes, by the grace of God, the preparation of Women Prayer Festival going very well, and all the group leaders in different areas, they are very excited to join this festival. And from the group from Village 1 and Village 2, they are also excited to join this festival, and they are preparing well spiritually and also outwardly. They are excited to join this.
Awesome.
And
So,
yes,
so
and
you,
in this morning,
no, go ahead, go ahead.
yes, in this morning, well, thanks to God, we received the funds for Due Bible and also the pending fund for prayer festival. And it's all about your prayers and of the sports. And it's very awesome. And also, I'm also very excited to for this event because as an EACG the leader, we are organizing this. So all the other leaders are also praying for us for this event, and yes, we are also excited. Yes,
Okay,
thank God.
so here's a real technical kind of detail. We were talking a few weeks ago about 25 women being leaders of, I thought prayer groups, but at least leaders. And
Yes,
you had 11 in your home. So does that just
yes.
mean not everyone was able to be at that home meeting?
Because some are busy in their other meetings, and because they are organizing their meetings in evening, so that's why they couldn't join us this.
Okay. All
Yes,
right. Very good. Well, the significance of next week is Terry and I, Lord willing, are going to be in Michigan, Grand Rapids at Acton University. And you guys on Wednesday, there'll be five of us from this prayer page on Wednesday. And maybe there'll be 400 or 300 or some number of women praying on Wednesday, the 24th. And
Yeah.
you actually kind of plan that as a way of recognizing God doesn't answer our prayers all the time the way that we think He should, and He has a
Um,
plan differently. So let me ask this real quick, and then we'll get into the building. Now that we're just, a week away from this prayer meeting, do you guys have any clarity as to what you think this was all about in being on the precipice of what we thought would be a visa and then coming to America, and then all of a sudden the whole thing shuts down. So, how do you, it's probably still evolving. We won't really know exactly what God was trying to do, maybe until we get to heaven. But do you have any thoughts right now as to how this is a better plan than what we thought was the good plan?
yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, uh, we are so much thankful to God for His planning for our life, and I think God uh, wanted us to stay in Pakistan because there was a lot of things to accomplish and to work on, and I think uh,
This is the
that
God's
yeah,
plan.
God's
Yes,
plan, and we really thankful for this, and we we acknowledge this in our lives, and we are thankful. We are praying for this, and I think uh, where God is putting us, that is the important thing. If God wanted us to go, definitely we could have been uh, there in these days and maybe later on. So, but God surely have a great plan for our lives, and God wanted us to be in Pakistan to serve and do all our ministry work rather than attending acting university or meeting people. So maybe one day, whatever God's plan, we are obeying that plan, and we are obeying the will of God. Yeah.
Okay. So just to be real specific, is it fair to say that if you were going to America this coming weekend, there would be a lot of maybe time consumed there, not in America, of course there would be, but in preparation, it just seems like you've had a lot going on in terms of this building. So if you had gone to America, would you be behind where you are now in terms of the building?
Yeah, surely, actually, because the work we have done, the way we are doing from this morning to till we just finished. I think 5 minutes before we just finished the meeting with that guy who had designed this building, and we spent time with him to understand the things and learn from him. So I think God definitely had a great plan for this, and uh, we are excited for this, the will of God. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just going to say arbitrarily kind of that if you had got that visa, if you were going to America, that would probably put the building project more than a month behind where we are now. I mean, it seems like
Yes.
there's a lot of energy behind the scenes that people don't know about, both in America and in Pakistan, that is leading up towards the start of a building. We still don't know when that's going to be, but I'm pretty confident if you were coming to America this weekend, we would be 1 or 2 months behind where we are right now. So if God had a plan as to, if God had a plan as to when he wanted groundbreaking, he knew
Yes,
that
in
you
in
couldn't get
that
that. Yeah, you couldn't get that done if you were coming to America. So
yes.
it's hard at the time
Even
that
if
happens.
in
Yeah, go ahead,
in
Vidya.
Discord, yes, in Discord, so women are asking again and again and again. So when we organize and when we are coming to Festival for this event for Fair Festival, so when I was told about that the event Fair Festival, they were excited. So that's all about that, and
Okay.
thank God for this for the yes for this time.
Okay. Very good. Um, okay, so Nasser, why don't you give us an update on what we don't know about what's happening with the building? And today Terry's here because we want to also just ask about, you know, kind of like next steps. So what people don't know is we have several pages related to what we think might be next steps. We want to talk about that. But you give us kind of an update, what you want us to know right now.
Yeah. Okay. Before that, should I send you some of the PDF files I just got from the guy, so you will have
Yes,
a better
but
idea?
okay, so let me ask if you shared your screen, I don't know if you're on your phone or your computer, but that would be another thing you could do is I could just have you share it, but if it's easier to send it to me and I share it, that's fine too.
Yeah. Yeah. We are on a mobile phone now,
Okay.
so
Well,
I can just send you. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's different than what you did last night, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 Oh,
Some of the thing I have sent you. but there are some other documents relevant.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna freeze this, and then you send it to me, and I'll bring it back on when I have everything. Okay, send me everything you want me to have.
Okay,
I'll stop the
okay,
recording, pause it, if I can figure out how to do that.
okay.
Okay. Terry, we're not recording. It's paused.
Yeah.
When did your catalytic converter get stolen?
It was either last Tuesday night or last Wednesday night.
Oh, wow. And you don't know anything yet, obviously, on the insurance.
So I have to contact my insurance people today to find out if it's covered.
Yeah.
It should be covered because I have full coverage on my insurance,
Right.
but there's
Did
no
they take
telling.
others? Did they
I'm
take
sorry?
others? Did they take other catalytic converters?
The investigator hasn't followed up with me yet. I filed a report and they
Yeah.
gave me a report number over the phone and said an investigator will follow up. So I'm going to call the non-emergency number as well to find out why an investigator hasn't been by yet. Because I filed the report on Thursday. So, I mean, I live less than a mile from the police station. So it's not like it's not like they got to make a 20-minute trip to get to my house.
हमारे पास ये है ना?
All right. So, guys, I paused my screen sharing. I didn't end the recording, so everyone's going to know that Terry had his catalytic converter stolen. He could use some help right now. Jeepers. All right. So, are we ready? Should I be going into? Sorry, my technology here is not the best at this. So, we're going to share my screen again. Do that. And now I'm going to go into Facebook here. Oh, yeah. Okay. So let me bring this over here. And it's still kind of all loading, but it will happen here fast, I think. Should come up here. There we go. Oh, okay. Everyone seeing that?
Yeah.
So this isn't, is this anything we need to talk about or? I mean, it's important to build a building. I don't know that we need to know anything. All right.
That's just your materials list.
Okay. All right.
Architectural code.
No, no,
Yeah.
ये नहीं।
Oh, okay. Are
नहीं
there
वो सारी
different-
फाइल में
Okay. We'll go to the next one. Oh, there's something. So these are windows and we're talking about the educational building, right?
It's not Windows.
विंडोज वो दीवार पे
Okay.
Right. Okay. 12. Let's do 13. Okay, so that's 12. We'll get rid of this. Same thing. Come on. Okay, so what's this? Looks like a stairwell. Stairs.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that inside or outside the building?
Inside the prayer hall.
Okay. And okay, now we're getting somewhere. Oh, okay, this is the property. Okay, so I have Isn't
Yeah.
this the property? Okay, so someone owns this space, is that right?
Yeah. Yes, that's right.
And is there anything there now?
Yes, there are two shops and
Oh, okay.
two families are living there. Yeah.
Okay, very good. So that was 15. Let's try 14.
I think I should have merged them in one file.
Okay, I think I've opened everything you sent today. Um, anything you want to say about the wall?
Yeah, these are the wall sizes and the design, how they will be built.
Okay. Okay. So you actually have a floor plan? Like what you sent me last night are pictures of the outside. Is there any layout here as to what would really happen on the inside?
I think, yeah, there are files. Okay, let me open in my.
Am I missing something? These are all one pages. Okay. Okay.
Next one of file. Okay, we will be following this booklet. Uh,
I'm not sure what you just said.
I said we will be following this booklet, and he has prepared this booklet as well of the same files I have sent you.
Oh, okay. 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 Well,
So,
what else?
we have a hard copy as well. Yeah.
Okay. So what else can you tell us? This is a basic question. I don't think you'll know the answer, probably, but you said previously that there was a need for 500,000 bricks. So let's start there. Was that with two buildings or one building?
Yeah, that was for two buildings. Yeah.
Okay. So are you at a stage now where you know how many bricks you need?
Yes, actually, tomorrow in the evening we have a meeting with the contractor and with this guy. Actually, today we couldn't discuss all these things. So tomorrow he will bring because he is a kind of person who can design all these things. But he said I cannot not give exactly details on these things. So he will be bringing one of his friends with him. So we will discuss with him all these things in details.
Okay. Okay. So give us an overview, if you can, of what's happening. We've seen pictures of two buildings. We've discussed one building. Um, so is there any kind of a summary you can give us as to what you think is going to happen now?
Yeah, okay. So yes, I know that we were discussing because this the whole thing was given to him before that, and I
Right.
also requested him. He said that we are. I have given tasks to my team, and they are working on it. So you can skip whatever you want to skip, but I'm giving you both the whole plan I got from you in the beginning.
Okay. Okay. So I see that my kind of whole thing was cycling. I think there's a lot more here than what we were looking at. Let's just see if there's some more that we can see. Um, Come on.
Hmm. No different, one by one. Then.
Okay, so prayer hall was the second building, which you are also calling a church. Okay, so at this point,
Yeah,
I haven't seen.
There
Oh,
you go.
okay. So what's this? Is this the educational building?
Looks
Yeah.
like it.
yes,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. And this was all done prior to us having discussions about how to move things around or whatever. So,
yeah,
were you able, you said 5 minutes ago you got done. So that's kind of why
yeah,
if we do use this video, we may not. But if you're watching this and you're kind of feeling like it's not organized, that's because it was 5 minutes ago that he got done. Okay. So did
yeah.
you discuss the idea about moving things around here? Um, how is this picture going to be different than what you're thinking right now?
Uh, Sorry, can you repeat?
Yeah. When you met with your designer, who's the brother of
Yeah,
the brother-in-law, and
yeah,
he showed you this work, did you
yeah,
discuss about moving things around and doing it differently than what was originally?
exactly. Yeah, yeah. I have told him that these are the things we want to remove them. So he said that he will remove. He will give another copy, maybe tonight. So he will remove this wall and
Mhm.
merge it in to these rooms. Yeah.
So does that sound like a good idea? Did he like that idea?
Uh, he personally he didn't like it. He
Okay.
said that I have made enough space for every room. So and it was designed according to
Separate
yeah.
center.
But it was his personal view.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay. Okay. So, so we don't have like you're having a meeting tomorrow with the contractor. That gets us closer, kind of to possibly a cost, but
yeah,
it would take a new update of this to really have a discussion with the contractor as to what it costs. So, I mean, if you were meeting with the contractor in 10 minutes, we don't know enough to really give him instructions as to what we're looking for. Is that
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to say about the building? Yeah, it's okay
Sorry.
if it's okay if we're done. I'm just asking if there's anything else you want to say about the building.
One- हम्म, कल के मीटिंग के बारे में भी और बात करनी हमें नहीं पता. Yeah. Is there anything Terry you want to ask?
No, I think I mean, if they're going to modify that plan right there, I mean, I'm thinking according to the original plan, um, removing the two middle boxes on the left by the bathrooms, and then
Yeah,
the only thing I think we had discussed is the possibility of the removal of the interior walls on the big room.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm following. Yeah, I'm following.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. So all of us understand what we've talked about before. Anyone watching this video, if we do give it to people, don't know what we're talking about. So let me just go ahead and step through. Obviously, at this stage, we have no idea what's really going to happen. Okay, so that's part of that significance of should they be packing their suitcases and going to Michigan next week, or is this a big enough project that God thought they should stay in Pakistan and work on? And
Yeah.
so part of what we're talking about is moving these walls so that this is one big room. And then
Yes. Yeah.
shifting everything down so that this is not a room. If this
Yeah.
is a room, we're missing how big this room could be. So
Hmm.
then we talked about this staircase being on the outside, and then this becomes an it's helpful if people know this. This was kind of like an alcove in America, we would say. This is a room that is under the roof but open to the outdoors. If we made both of these that size, then they could have a class that meets outside if they wanted to. This room stays. This is probably, we'll just call it the sewing, stitching room. This might be the computer room. And if you
Yeah.
shove all of this down and you take the kitchen and you put it over here, then you have a
Hmm.
kitchen that could serve the bigger room and could also
Yeah.
serve the outside. So that's like
Yes.
a, what would we call it? A galley kitchen. It
Yes.
goes the
Yep.
width of this, and they turn on one side and serve that way, and turn on the other side and serve this way. I don't know how it all works. But the point is, we don't want this open space here. We would rather have it here. So from your
Yeah.
contract, from your designer guy, obviously he took the plans that you had before and he built it all out, spent a lot of time. It looks beautiful. We
Yeah.
have pictures out looking outside as to what it looks like, but he didn't really understand that what you gave him were things that we were already changing. All right. So
Yeah.
part of his view might be just trying to put myself in his shoes. If you know you're going to have two buildings, then these walls are not that um, significant in a sense, right? But if you're not going to have the other building, then, and this becomes a building that has to be multi-use, those walls prevent us from using it in a different way. And Terry had the idea that if this wall here was a curtain, you could have storage without having to build a wall. If you ran a
Yeah.
curtain, let's say if you ran a curtain down the middle here or down this way, however you do it, you could actually have two classrooms meeting with a curtain in between. Now,
Hmm.
I'm just saying from my perspective, if this room is, it would be about half the size of the building if you took that room and moved it over here. You could have a class meet in one corner and a class meet in another corner, and it wouldn't be a problem. Okay, I mean, I went to high school where we had no doors. They have doors today,
Yeah.
but somebody thought it was a great idea once not to have doors in your rooms. So we could just, this whole room could be adapted to whatever you want it to be. You could have petitions on wheels. You could have, but Terry's idea of a curtain is a really good idea. Okay, so then the point is, why do we want this big room? Whether it's you having adult meetings that we will call church, or whether it's Muslims that have a family event, a wedding or a reunion or something, there will be really usable space here for a large group. And then you have your kitchen that could provide that. Okay. And then people don't really get this idea, but this is just half of the available space. So over here is another building that was originally proposed that was for the prayer house, not prayer house, but the prayer hall, church, whatever. And NASA or Medea had thought if they separate the church from the educational unit, it might be more friendly to Muslims to come in here and recognize they're not coming into a church. Okay, so we talked about that. But the point is,
Yeah.
we have to contain how much all of this costs. We have to build a building that's used in multiple ways. And to me, I'm not there on the ground, but to me, it makes no sense to put all of your money into this space in this village when you already have a second village. So
Yeah.
if there was a possibility of designing a building like this, and I'm not saying we should promise the second village that we're going to build a building like this, but we certainly can't build two buildings here thinking we got the money to go to the next building and do the same thing. We have to be thinking more long term than sinking all the resources we have into this one location.
Yeah.
So when you start to think that way, then you have to design the building so that it can grow with you and be multi-use. And then if we have all this space over here, that provides, I think, enough space that you could have these big events that we've seen pictures of at Christmas, where you have a huge tent and now you have a lot of open space over here. Again, I'm not there, so you might say, no, that's not big enough. But, potentially there's some ways in which that open space could be used. And if you put a building there, now you've really limited how you might use that kind of space. Now you need another location to have a big tent. So have I said that well?
Yes.
Yeah.
And are we all kind of like, yeah, although we don't know how that's all going to work out, are we all on the same page thinking if we could figure that out, that sounds like a good idea?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, there we go.
Yes.
Okay, that's the answer I was looking for. All right. So let's see what else, if I have anything over here. Looks like now I don't have all this stuff I used to have. All right. So that gets us the wrong direction. That's the other building.
Yeah.
And he's going to organize all of this in some way for us. That's the building we were just looking at. And I think we're going the wrong way here. Okay. So now let's just say it this way. I'm going to bring this over. And this was what we were thinking we were going to talk about partly today. And so it's not important that people know what all this stuff says. We just have kind of like a preamble. Then we have 7 things, 7 goals. So this one relates to communication and updates, and we're looking for activity. Okay, so now let me say it in my world. I've been in business 37 years. I wasn't a salesperson when I came into the business. I don't think I'm a very good salesperson today. But if you're in a business that's driven by people and sales, you can't control how people make decisions. But what you can control is how many phone calls you make. In my industry that's been around decades, it's a weird formula that if someone would make 10 phone calls, they likely will reach 7 people. And if they talk to 7 people, they'll set 3 appointments. And if they set 3 appointments, they will get 1 sale. Okay, there's decades of data to support that process. So I know that if I want more sales, I need to make more phone calls. If I want to have more meetings, I have to make more phone calls. And so I was just talking to my new guy to say, you need to schedule a time let's say either every day or every other day, where that sacred time is where you're making phone calls. If you allow other people to interrupt that, then you're not getting your phone calls done. Then pretty soon you won't have enough meetings, then you won't have enough sales. So, what we're trying to say here to Nasser is what are the activities that lead towards relationships and lead towards more prayer partners and leads toward potentially a bigger base of financial support. And we have a goal where we want to double the prayer partners. So we're thinking, okay, these are kind of like activity steps. And so then we're also thinking that we would like to see Nasser and Sunday. Sunday doesn't know this, so he'll probably watch the video and learn it. We would like to see an improvement in your ability to communicate in English because you're actually very good in communicating in English, but your accent makes it difficult sometimes for Americans to hear what you're saying. And if there would be a possible way of improving that, I don't even know how to do that, but enunciation or timing of how you say things, it just seems like if there could be some work given to that. And now Kathy, if she's watching this, she's learning for the first time that her name is here. So all of this is very preliminary. I haven't had a conversation with Kathy to see what she thinks about that. But I will tell you, for the first time, I listened on an audio Bible today to 1st, 2nd, and 3rd John and Jude. And I'm finding that I used to listen, I probably still will, but I always listen to messages when I'm taking a shower and I'm getting ready. So now I'm listening to the Bible and I'm trying that. And if I was in your shoes, I think if I was listening to not the King James, we don't want you speaking, with a lot of thous and these. But if you listen to what I listen to, which is the New Living Translation, you would be hearing a contemporary pronunciation of words that you could actually visually see. And if you were memorizing some verses through that method, you would be able to know how to pronounce words in a way that is more Americanized. So it's not the issue of can you read English, can you write English. I was impressed, Medea, that you gave me your notes from your Covey Franklin planner, and it's all in English, which quite frankly, I was surprised that that was in English. But hey, if that works for you, that's awesome. So it's those kinds of things that really help both of you. But now I'm only saying this because I have a friend in Ohio who told me to do it. And I think there's value in listening to the audio Bible. And in your case, that would be one way maybe of trying to learn. All right. So
Yeah.
so I guess this is kind of good for me to talk through and for our prayer partners to kind of hear where this is going. Right now, he has $50 a month from, I'm just going to say it, Lakeland Child Evangelism Ministries, who've been giving $50 a month for a couple of years. And that's like really, really helpful. We also have
Yes.
money from Christ Community Church, but that's going to you personally. And just so people kind of know, it's $300 a month. It's not some exact, and it's been that way for several years. So it's not like you're living high on the hog, we say. It's a very minimal amount of money. And inflation has been eroding that. And we would like to see that higher, but I don't necessarily think Christ Community Church needs to do that. So we have a goal here to say, why don't we just, we pray for lots of things. God has done lots of things. How about if we pray for $200 a month by the end of a prayer campaign? So now I'm going to announce what he's working on, that we don't need a fundraising campaign. We need a prayer campaign. We need to expand our base of prayer partners. So over this construction period, we don't even know when it starts. We don't know when it ends. But let's say it lasts 4 or 5 months. Maybe it's 6 months. I have no idea. Let's focus on what are the right activities in communication and relationship building that get us then to the place where potentially, if God does his part of the equation, we have people giving $200 a month by the time this is over. And just to put that in perspective, the building is going to have an ongoing cost of at least $200 a month. So
Yeah.
$200 a month doesn't allow us to run the program. It just is a good improvement when we have $50 and then we build the building. If we had 200, that would be a tremendous improvement. And if we could start January 1st with $300 a month in commitments of giving, now we're getting closer to being able to run our program. And what God has done over the years is that we have had large gifts, and by large, I mean really big gifts, but we've also had gifts of $1,000, $2,000, $500. What we haven't had much of is a monthly ongoing support. And there was somebody who did that once at about $150 a month. That was really helpful. God used that person to bring us through a time. But what we
Yeah.
don't have is this kind of consistency. And if we had that, and then we had some large gifts for special projects, that would really provide a lot of stability. And so like, why wouldn't we want to pray about that? Why wouldn't we want to work towards that? So just like my phone calls of 10 calls to get one appointment, let's do the activity that's required, that if we keep doing it day after day, week after week, we're doing our part of the equation, and then only God can move hearts and help people, get to this point. Okay, so you get the idea.
Yeah.
Let's go down to the next one. We've done two. This one is image. So some people may have seen this. He made some major changes on the Facebook page that's public. This gets really confusing. We have a private Facebook page. He has a public Facebook page. All of us, if you're watching this, all of us are on the private one. What we have to recognize, and now this is where some of you maybe who heard this went to the public and liked it. We could help Nasser publicly if we went to his public page and liked it. If we went to, I don't know if there's any YouTube stuff out there that we would listen to, even if you didn't listen to the whole thing. When people are investigating, so let's say we have a global giving project, we have to be thinking that somebody around the world who might be going to global giving, then they're going to think, okay, is this place real? So then they go to the Facebook page, and then they might go to the website. So we're actually creating more work when we have these multiple things going, but it is where God, I think, has led us, and we just have to maintain it. We have to recognize that when people give through global giving, we have no idea who they are. And if
Yeah.
they're trying to figure us out, the only way they can figure us out is to go to the website or to go to the public Facebook page. Now, it would be awesome if somebody gave in global giving and eventually we found out who they were because they would have to tell us, and then they were a part of the private prayer page. And the private prayer page is still going to be super important. It's where all of us are used to knowing what's happening. That will be really, really important. And then we have Christ Community Church, which quite frankly is not a part of this Facebook activity. So we
Yeah.
communicate to them through public ways, and that's how we have to get kind of better at trying to give them information and not forget that they need just as much as all the rest of us to know what's happening. So it's pretty complicated. Okay, this said ministry systems and what was that other word? Structure. All right. So I guess under expectations, this is kind of weird. So I'm not trying to make Nasser Medea or anyone else into an American. Okay, but this has been something that has percolated for 4 years, beginning in 2022. And when they opened their box and got their Franklin Covey calendar system, none of that was designed to bring this page up to where we're writing this expectation. So I go back to what Terry says. This is organic. We don't highly plan what happens. When we do, God doesn't usually go down that path, much like the Acton University thing. But they both have these systems now, and now we're recognizing the complexity of what it takes to build a building and manage new people and try to build a team and also have a second village. And I'm going to ask you, Nasser, what you did previously, because when I asked Alpha this yesterday, he said, well, here's how it kind of works in a third world country. You just try to remember what you need to know. And you keep every day trying to remember, I'm supposed to do something 3 months from now, and you keep trying to remember it, and you don't really have a system of necessarily writing things down. Now, I would expect for you to have a master's degree in sociology from a major university. You didn't just remember everything, but how does what you have in your hands now help you, or does it help you?
Uh, well, as we are planning everything, and we are trying now to take notes, and so that we can remember the things what is happening, and what we are expected to do, and what are the current situations. So both of us are working on these things, and we are learning on these things to so that we can memorize things, and so that we can have in writing things to remember and to discuss with other people. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me how it was done a year ago. Did you have a notebook? Did you
Uh,
write things down?
no, no.
I
Madhya used to do this. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I can, I've said this before, but what I try to do personally is I want to have as little useless information in my mind as I can to remember. Okay. So I don't know really how the mind works, but if I can write things down, then I don't have to remember it, right? And if it's weird, I do remember things that people say if it's significant. I tend to remember that.
Yeah.
And some people don't like the fact that I remember what they say. But what I don't remember are all the details that I've written down. I don't want to remember them, right? I want to write them down, then I want to look at it, and then I want to do them. Okay, enough of that. But the point is, I can see, having been in this, that there are things Terry and I do that we've just been taught to do over decades. And that's part of our culture. And in your culture, it really isn't something you guys do. So now we're introducing something that's different, but something that may really help you manage complex ministries. Okay, so now we have building project readiness. A lot of this stuff's kind of obvious. We're saying let's get Terry, Brad, Ben, John's name's not there, but John would be another one involved in actually looking at all this stuff. I think inflation is probably going to run at 25 to 50% per year. And that's what we have to be thinking about. So it's important
Yeah.
when we build a building to know that we have a huge inflation rate ahead of us. Putting off the building only makes it more expensive. We don't want to start next week. We're not ready for that. But the sooner we get started, the sooner we can start buying bricks or whatever it is. And if we don't, we're going to run into problems whether bricks are even available. Okay, team building, you're good at that, lots of that kind of stuff. This is where it could get kind of touchy for people. But I was taught more than 30 years ago to inspect what we expect. And so I want you to kind of think about it this way. And for the people listening to this, here's the latest stuff is we have a a phase of buildings that we don't even know that this is right. I mean, we're sitting here in the US trying to design something that we can't touch and see, nor do we know the culture or the phases. But let's just say there's five phases of a building. One is the pre-building, okay, so pre-groundbreaking. Another phase then is the foundation, exterior walls, the roof, concrete floor, no windows, no electricity, no interior walls. Whenever you do plumbing, you put, those lines in and pour a foundation. Similarly, you have conduit that might possibly be here. I don't know how it works. It doesn't matter. The next phase is interior walls, windows, doors. Sometimes doors and windows aren't done till the very end. But part of what we're kind of trying to figure out, and this is where Nasser has to figure it out. If we only did phase two and then we had no more money, have we wasted this money or do we have a building that actually could be used? And we see pictures of that every day at the prayer house in Nigeria. That's the condition of the prayer house. Okay, so then if this phase happened and we ran out of money, we had no more ability to do anything, then at this phase we have potentially windows, doors, interior walls. And the fourth phase is kind of, Terry said, it's kind of like you're roughing in everything. It's not exactly finished, but you're getting there. And the final phase is all the pretty stuff that everybody sees and everything works. So
Yeah.
Nasser needs to take this stuff, which he saw for the first time this morning when he woke up. So he needs some time to kind of work through this document, try to figure out where are we headed, what's the right timeline. I'm pretty confident that the building is going to be done this year, not next spring. But all of that has to be kind of planned out as best as we can according to Luke 14, when Jesus says, "Hey, don't do that building unless you know you can finish it, right? Don't go to war unless you think you can
Yeah.
win." Like, who would go to a war thinking, "Oh, we're going to lose"? It's not smart. Okay, so what we also have then are phases where we say, how do you eat an elephant? And the answer is one bite at a time. So how do you take that document that says, here's the activity that we want to see, and then what would be the checkpoints along the way so that if we get to phase three, we can look backwards and say, is the activity being accomplished that we laid out that we want to do? And now here's the thing for Americans. We're not, Terry and I and Ben and John aren't going to create all the activity goals. We're asking Nasser to spend time to try to figure out and tell us what's a realistic progress or progression of activity for each of these phases so that as Americans, we can look at this and say, hey, you're on track, or hey, something's wrong. How can we help you? So we want him to have the ownership of the activity. We want him to be a planner. Not outside of his culture or character, but pretty basic. For us to plan me is not really the right thing to do. He needs to figure out how to do that. And I want to come back to say all of this stuff, I think, is part of what God had in mind when he decided, hey, let's take you to the edge of this visa, but I'm going to show you that that you're not ready, right? And
Yeah.
so if God has a timeline as to when he wants the groundbreaking, when he wants the building done, we have to be focused like a laser beam to say, how do we get there? Okay, Terry needs to leave real soon. So Terry, anything you want to say about any of this?
All good.
Yeah. Okay. And Terry, I know you have a 9 o'clock or something. Feel free to leave whenever you need to. Okay, so Nasser, any kind of thing you could add? And once again, are we all on the same page? I didn't want to do all the talking today, but maybe this has been good.
Yeah, this was really good, and we are on the same page, and we we will keep our track. We will keep learning. We will keep knowing what God wants us to do. So yeah.
Yeah, very good. All right, let's do this real quick. We're almost done. Um,
Okay. One
yeah,
thing Madiha was asking me that if we are moving that room, which we have given a name of community meeting room. So Madiha was suggesting that if sometime if we stay in the village, so if we make it as our room to stay for a night there.
oh, was that I mean, that's a question, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's really important. And
Right.
okay, so what we didn't show you, like people who might be watching this, is there is a
Yeah.
building for a guard, and this is a requirement. It's a
Yeah.
requirement that there's a wall. And we went through this, Terry and I, with them, like, why in the world do you need a wall? Well, okay, so the government requires a certain level of security. I assume some of that's because there's kids involved and it's called a school or whatever it's called. But there's also someone who has to be there, and the government dictates that it's over $130 a month to pay that person. So there's certain
Yeah.
things that are happening that we have no control over, and part of that then is a room by the wall with a bathroom for the guard. So now, you guys think about this. I hadn't thought about this until today. Would it be possible, since you're going to build that, to maybe make that bigger or do that in some way that could actually be a place where you guys stay, or anyone could stay?
Yeah. Yeah. I think we can make some parts of it and to design it as a maybe two bedrooms
Yeah,
or maybe a kitchen with kitchen and dining room, something like that. Yeah. We
yeah.
can design
So
in a same place. Yeah.
I'm just thinking you have the sewer, you have the water, you have the electricity. And if you
Yeah.
doubled that floor plan, it may not be, as expensive as recreating some of that inside. But I'll go back to when I was just simply taking an Excel spreadsheet and trying to, design some of that. I had it as a priority that there would be a room across from the kitchen with a bathroom and a place where you guys could stay. Then you just simply walk across the hall to get to the kitchen, and that's where you have your food and stuff. So I do think
Yeah.
that's worth, um, kind of planning. And maybe as you move everything around, if you want that kind of a room in that building, that's an idea. If it's cheaper to go out and do it at that other location, I don't know if it would be, but that's another idea. So I know, I think that's a really smart thing. And I think when we're building walls, the kitchen is important. A room for the sewing machines is important. A room for the computers is important. And then I would say what you just said is important. I don't think you need any other classrooms because I think you can meet outside. You can, have a class inside the bigger room. There's just no point
Yeah,
in having more walls that then limit how the building can be used.
right.
Another thing to think about is if you made the guard station big enough for someone to live in, even if you guys weren't there, which is a need, but you could rent it, right? You could have somebody maintain the property by living there, and that would provide some 24/7 security. So
Yeah,
I'm open to all that kind of stuff. It makes sense.
yeah, right. Thank you so much. Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
work on it, and yeah,
Okay,
tomorrow in
so
our
what
meeting we will discuss with this.
I have a comment I want to say about this. So I posted in one of our threads my dialogue with AI that got to this point. And I would think anyone that went there, you would see this. Nasser, did you go all the way to the top and see how this whole thing developed?
This page?
Yeah. Oh, no, not this page, but my AI. I saw that you were in Copilot. You got into my link. Did you go up to the top and see my
Yeah,
first question? Yeah. So here's what people need to know. We get so used to this idea that it's not special to us anymore. Okay.
yeah,
So there are words on this page that are very significant, but I still go back to say when you go from 0 women and then you have a meeting and you have 12, and now potentially you have 400. What this doesn't show is that we went from 12 to 400. When you have 25 kids or less in, let's say, 2019, and now you have 200, that's where
yeah,
this is a movement of God. And when you have
yes,
no computers, and now you have 65 kids that are in computer classes and English classes, and a group of those kids probably know English better than their peers in America. And then you have no
yeah,
sewing machines, and now you have not only 45 women that have been trained, but there's 9 women that have sewing machines in their home. And
yeah,
then we really have 2 churches, and now you have property. There's a lot behind here that even as prayer partners, if you've been here the whole time, you just get kind of numb to this and you think, oh yeah, that's what's happening. And you don't really see the awe, AWE, that this really is. Okay. And we can say the same thing about Nigeria, and we will. So we're not favoring Pakistan. Nigeria has the same
yeah,
kind of stuff going on. But I just think when I gave kind of some of this information to Copilot AI and asked it, what does this mean? The answer was, this is not normal, right? This is not a
right.
normal process. This is not a normal ministry. These are not normal outcomes. And I think that's what we have to celebrate. And so there's a lot of
Yes,
unknowns. When you get kicked out of the village, that's how I term it. We don't know how all of that momentum is going to come back and what it means when we actually get to this point where we restart. But God has done an amazing thing, and we just have to recognize that, step back, and say it's not anyone in America or in Pakistan being smart enough to put this together. It's just what God has done, and that's what this is trying to begin to help us remember. Okay, Terry,
very cool.
are you still there? Can you close this in prayer?
Sure. Father, we do thank you for today, Lord. Just thank you for your continued direction. Praying for the meetings that come up tomorrow with the draftsman or whoever put together the documents to update the building program, Lord. I just pray for that to come together smoothly. I thank you for your continued provision and the blessing of being able to purchase the audio Bibles or to be used next week in the prayer meeting with the prayer group of women. And Father, we just pray that the fruit of your word will continue to expand, Lord, in the area where they're looking to build this building, and also the momentum and the growth in the second village. So we just entrust all these things to your care. Thank you for this time of meeting. Keep us safe as we go throughout our day. And we want to honor you and glorify you in all that we say and do. In Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you, Terry, for your time.
Okay. Have a
Thank
good day.
you. Nasser and Medea,
Have a good
stay
day.
on here
Yeah.
when I close out.